Rex Heuermann. I'm an architect. I'm an architectural consultant. I'm a troubleshooter. Born and raised on Long Island. Okay. Been working in Manhattan since 1987. And it's actually a cabinet maker's hammer.
The work is not done here, but this is a major, major step forward.
My reaction is, this is nuts. It's really, really crazy. You never know, you never know who your neighbors are, right?
Please note that this content is for adults only. Viewer discretion advised. If you haven't yet, hit the subscribe, like, and share. Hello everyone and welcome back to another live stream with me, Grizzly. This is Grizzly True Crime. Happy Friday to you. Today we're going to be talking about the Long Island serial killer case, also known as the Gilgo Beach murders, with the suspect, Rex Heuermann. We've got some news about the case and about him and his wife and all sorts of things. So we're going to be looking at that. It's been a couple of weeks now that I've been collecting little bits of news for you, and today I thought this would be a good day to discuss some of those updates. So, welcome to all my moderators. Thank you so much for everything you do. Welcome to all my patrons. Thank you so much for being on Patreon. It's a really great source of support. If you haven't checked it out yet, do check it out. There's lots over there that you won't see anywhere else. Welcome to all my YouTube members. We are going to have a YouTube members only live stream right after the stream. Okay, so you should have got the notification already. If you didn't, I hope you look out for that one because we're going live right after this. You'll be teleported there after this. And then welcome to all my subscribers. Everyone, welcome, even if you're brand new here. I hope that you know a little bit about this case because we've done lots of deep dives on this case. And there is in the description box a little case background write-up for you. There's also a playlist where you can check out all the presentations that we put together here. We've gone over lots of details, including like every year of Rex Heuermann's life, of every detail we could possibly dig up so far. So go check that out if you haven't before. Una says, hi Grizzly, so happy to be part of this family and happy Grizzlyversary to you and to Joy as well, who left a nice message earlier. And to Kelly, who earlier you said you've been here since you like it. Oh gee, since I had 2K subscribers, so thank you so much. All right, so let's just dive into the news, shall we? Okay. So let me bring this up. First, I want to thank CRAIGSLIST. You can find CRAIGSLIST on X, researcher, advocate, and data geek, and you should see this map time. Oh my goodness. LISK and missing and unidentified. Thousands of people that CRAIGSLIST Row has added to this map. So if you like map time, like we all have map time over here, right? You should go check that out. So I'm thanking CRAIGSLIST because he never forgets about the case, ever. Always keeping people informed. Any bit of news, anything is always there, so thank you for also, keeping it fresh in my memory as well as things come out. Or maybe there's news that I didn't know about. Okay, Gabriella, oh my goodness, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Now, let's look at this one. I wanted to show you this because I know we've probably all seen it, or maybe you haven't. But there was this picture that went around. I don't think we ever discussed it together. I saw it. I might have even shared it. I think I shared it on X, but we didn't look at it. And it's an unbelievable story of someone who posted that picture on the right-hand side of Rex Heuermann in 2015. I think it was on the Instagram account. We're going to read now again. Wow. And they just thought, wait a minute. From this guy they're seeing on the news, I've sure seen that guy before. There's like a picture I posted of someone who looks like that. And he went to look and it's like, yes, it literally is him. Is Joe Jackalone here? Hello to Joe Jackalone. If you guys didn't know, Crime Nation has a new documentary on this case. And I'm claiming you as ours, Joe Jackalone. Our Joe Jackalone is in it. So if you haven't seen it, It's actually pretty hard for people outside of America. There's a naughty YouTube link. You can find it if you if you search for it. Someone's posted it out there, so I've been able to watch it. Excellent job, Joe Giacalone. Thank you for being here. If you haven't ever checked out Joe's channel, he talks a lot about this case as well. So go and check it out. Okay, so they say Redditor shares picture mocking suspected Gilgo Beach killer Rex Heuermann. He was snarking it up before any of us, before anyone even knew about this guy. Taken nearly 8 years before this capture. Look at the headline. They're like, crazy SH1T. A stunned Long Islander unknowingly posted a picture of Gilgo Beach serial killing suspect Rex Heuermann all the way back in 2015, almost 8 years before the hulking architect, the ogre, okay, the hulking architect would be charged with a string of gruesome murders. The unnamed commuter, a former CVS employee, posted the image of Heuermann nursing a tall can of beer in a brown paper bag while riding the Long Island Railroad Babylon line. Okay. Michael Morse is like dinosaur, no doubt. So they said, wearing glasses and with a brown leather jacket hung nearby, the accused killer appears to be working on a tablet in the haunting picture dated March 9th of 2015. Listen, people, don't mess with my birthday like that, okay? March 9th is my birthday. Me in 10 years if I stay at CVS and continue to eat fried food every day, the man wrote to his handful of Instagram followers at the time. The startled poster wrote last month how he later realized the man he randomly photographed and lampooned that day would later draw global infamy. So he blurred out his identity here, but he said, me in 10 years if I stayed at CVS. See there? 6 comments, 2015. Whoa, look at that. Have you seen this picture before? I'm sure some of you have, right? Look at this. Can you believe it? Just like a random picture taken of some, random dude on a train. And almost a decade later, they're like, wait a minute. Amazing that they remembered that as well, right? My goodness. Whoa, Joe Giacalone says the hundreds of times I took the LIRR, the same exact line, I never saw him. He would have been someone to remember just by his sheer size, right? Wow. Okay, so here they said, 9 years ago I made this dumb post about getting fat and unknowingly posted this picture of Rex Heuermann, he wrote on Reddit. Shocked posters asked if he realized that he had taken Heuermann's picture when his arrest broke last July. Dude, dude, absolutely not, he said. I randomly just thought about this picture today. Then remembered the guy resembling him. Said to myself, wouldn't it be funny if it was him? Lol. Then I looked at it. Same train line. Saw him plenty of times. One day decided to make a dumb Instagram post about fear of letting myself go. 9 years later, today, realized I struck true crime gold. Crazy SH1T. Some posters took exception to what they viewed as his fat-shaming a stranger in the post and putting his picture on Instagram without his knowledge. But the user, who said he now works in the entertainment industry, noted that he was much younger at the time and assumed the post would only be circulating among a small group of friends. I didn't post for clout or recognition, he said in his defense. I was being facetious to the 30 to 40 friends on there exclusively, people that I knew in real life to spark a dumb laugh. Others staunchly baked his efforts, especially in retrospect. Okay, so that's what we have. But yeah, let's hope strangers don't take pictures of us and then fat shame us or be like, look at this loser. Because that's not very nice. But in this case, this would be the exception to the rule. We like the snark. Not fat shaming. We don't like fat shaming over here. We like the snark towards this alleged serial killer. The evidence against him is pretty strong, right? It's pretty strong. It's not like some other cases we're looking at recently. All right, so now we're going to get into this over here. This is the longest of the articles I'm going to show you. I've got quite a few articles to show you today. Newsday is the main source for all these articles today. They've written a lot in the last few weeks. This I want to tell you about. So they said Gilgo Beach killings, new details about remains of Gilgo Four revealed, document shows. Now, I don't have the document yet, okay? I just have the article for now. You know I love documents. So let's just quickly have a look at this. So they said Suffolk prosecutors revealed that the remains of each of the Gilgo Four were found completely nude and restrained by either tape, burlap, or belts in a recent filing in the case against alleged serial killer Rex A. Heuermann. A document obtained by Newsday shows. I mean, this must be absolutely horrifying for the families of these victims. Yes, they've got some closure now, knowing, even though Rex Heuermann is innocent or proven guilty, still got to go to trial and all that. He hasn't confessed or anything like that. So trial will happen at some point. But man, they have some closure, but it's just horrifying. Imagine knowing that your loved one was abused and murdered by a alleged serial killer. It's so scary. And then left like that, completely nude and restrained by either tape, burlap, or belts. The new details were shared in a bill of particulars requested by Heuermann's defense team, which alleged that prosecutors have not disclosed to Heuermann how they believe he killed the alleged victims, where the deaths occurred, or how they intend to prove that the slayings were part of a common scheme. I always hate it when they say slayings. Oh no, sorry. Anyway, it just sounds so like really cold. I know it's a horrible case. But anyway, in the February 14th demand letter, Heuermann defense attorney Daniel Koish argued the superseding indictment charging the Manhattan architect with multiple murder counts does not provide enough information for him to properly prepare his defense. So of course he's just doing his job as a defense attorney, right? Every count of the indictment merely repetitively parrots statutory language alleging Mr. Heuermann's caused the death of each victim, Koish wrote. This language is so vague and non-specific as to be virtually meaningless, leaving Mr. Heuermann in complete ignorance of the substance of accusations against him. In my opinion, I think Rex Heuermann knows exactly what he's facing, and I think he's probably quite happy to keep a lot of information to himself because there must be so many more victims out there, in my opinion. I don't know if someone like this, an alleged serial killer who's innocent or proven guilty, would murder 4 people in that time frame and then just stop. I'm still very concerned about what Rex Heuermann did between 2010 and 2023. What went on there? I know that sometimes serial killers have cool-off periods, but that's very long. Okay, extraordinarily long. And also, I just don't believe it. Because when they arrested him, he was busy with burner phones still. He was busy Googling the most horrible things. We've gone over it a few times before. By the way, if you guys didn't see, it's on the playlist, this LISK playlist that I made for you. If you didn't see when Joe Jackalone was here with us as a guest, those were some very interesting conversations about this case as well. So go check it out. They said, Suffolk County Assistant District Attorney Andrew Lee stated in the March 6th bill of particulars that prosecutors have already provided Koish and co-counsel Michael J. Brown. I think you know Michael J. Brown, me too. We've seen him at press conferences, and sometimes he's also on court TV just talking about other cases with the information through the discovery process. Lee said 12 terabytes of data, including a transcript of the grand jury presentation, 85 grand jury exhibits, autopsy reports, photographs from the crime scene, and the medical examiner's office, search warrants, affidavits were provided in discovery. All of that sounds very interesting, right? So the prosecutor said the defense was also given paperwork from the Suffolk County Police Department and its crime lab, as well as outside lab documentation, all of which adequately detail the conduct for which the defendant is charged. Given the information in the indictment, the factual information provided within this bill of particulars, the written bail applications filed on July 14th of 2023 and January 16th of 2024, as well as the voluminous discovery provided, the defendant is well situated to prepare defense. Are you sure? Well, I wish we could see it. In New York, they don't have cameras in the courtroom, man. Can't see it. That would be an interesting trial. Imagine it. Brown, Heuermann's lead attorney, could not be reached for comment. We're almost done with this one. Then we're going to move on to the other news, right? Of Rex Heuermann's wife being in like absolute denial. Oh my goodness. I didn't quite expect that. I thought she was like processing a little bit, but no, full denial. Heuermann, 60. Oh, he had a birthday in jail. He's apparently feeling very lonely in jail. Okay. And he wants butter on his bread. Remember when he wrote to that other happy face killer, which is not the thing to do if you're innocent. Remember when they arrested him as well? He didn't resist. We looked at the arrest video before. The police surrounded him one day after work, after finding his pizza crust and swabbing that. And there was a match to a hair, the root of a hair found on one of the victims, Megan Waterman. So they surrounded him and he didn't what? He didn't leave me alone. Why are you arresting me? He was just like, okay. That is also interesting. Bit of a red flag then. Jenna's like, Rex who? Yes, so now he's 60 years old. Okay, of Massapequa Park was arrested in New York City last July 13th. It feels like yesterday when that happened, right? The following afternoon, he pleaded not guilty to first and second degree murder charges in the killings of Megan Waterman, Melissa Barthélemy, and Amber Lynn Costello, whose remains were found near Gilgo Beach more than 13 years ago. He again pleaded not guilty in January to the superseding indictment, which added a fourth. We watched that press conference together, remember? We watched all these happenings together so far. If you don't remember, go check out the playlist. So there's a fourth charge added now. So he has been charged with all 4 of the Gilgo Four victims. Now, will he be charged with more? I don't know. There are some differences. In that Crime Nation documentary, they talked about the unidentified Asian doe. And they said that Asian doe's skull was crushed and that he was wearing woman's clothing. Now, a good question would be, why do they not tell us anything about the clothing, like the public, so they could help identify this unidentified doe? So, blunt force trauma, skull crushed, but then they make a sketch of what they think he would have looked like. They don't talk about if maybe, was he wearing a wig? Was he wearing what? A dress, a skirt? What is it? You know what I mean? Don't you think that would be helpful for the public? Like they normally do in cases like that? I don't know. Anonymous. Thank you so much for being here and thank you for being a member for 11 months. Bun Bun says, has anyone read the book Lost Girls about the LISK? That is such an excellent book. It is so highly detailed. I'm still busy with it. I've got the audio book and I can't remember what chapter I'm on. I listen to it on my walk sometimes. I've got like too many books lined up that I want to get through. This is one of them. It is so brilliant. And they also have a movie that they made on Netflix, inspired by this book, Lost Girls, yes? Wow. So if you guys haven't checked it out, damn, that book has got lots of details. So the point is that with the Gilgo Four, all found completely naked and bound in the burlap, the other victims who were found in very close proximity, we've done some map time before, we've even flown over it with a flight simulator, go check it out, there could just be a little change in MO or something, who knows? I've always said if there could be another serial killer that used the same area to discard their victims' bodies. Like John Bitrolf, who, by the way, he wants a new trial. I saw that. He wants a new trial. Like, okay. So anyway, I don't want to distract too much. Let's move on to this. So they said he's now pleaded not guilty to that as well, whose remains were found near the other alleged victims. All 4 of the women, the first of 10 sets of remains found along Ocean Parkway that are believed to be the work of one or more serial killers, were sex workers. Prosecutors have said that Heuermann had hundreds of contacts with sex workers in the years before he was arrested. See, I'm just saying, like, he didn't ever stop. He was connected to the crime primarily through cell site data, burner phone records, and DNA evidence linking him to the woman and the location where the bodies were found, prosecutors have said. The demand served by the defense contained 35 questions for prosecutors relating to all 7 counts in the indictment, records show. Several questions related to the specific location where prosecutors believe Heuermann may have killed the woman, arguing the indictment merely alleges that the crime occurred in the state of New York. That's still an interesting question. Joe Giacalone and I discussed that. Where do we think Rex Heuermann committed these murders? Because allegedly he did it when his family was out of town. So was it at the home or not at the home? Go check out that previous live stream. So, and let me know in the comments as well. Several questions related to the specific location where they believe, right, he may have killed the woman, arguing the indictment alleges. So it's very vague, but of course, I mean, they have to go to trial, They say the defense also inquired if prosecutors believe that Heuermann acted as a principal, accomplice, or both. In the bill of particulars, prosecutors wrote that they do believe that Heuermann acted alone and that the cause of each woman's death was homicidal violence. Prosecutors further state that the time and place of each death contained in the grand jury minutes and other discovery materials, though they stopped short of providing more specific details. Wow, do you see that, right? Oh, which Lost Girls author? Oh no, now I've got to double check myself here. Wait. Are there so many? Robert Kolker, that one. Okay, so Lost Girls, An Unsolved American Mystery, Robert Kolker. I think that's the one I've got here. So I see there's quite a few titles. I see what you mean. Yeah, Lost Girls, The Unsolved American Mystery of the Gilgo Beach Serial Killer Murders. I'll link the book for you in the description box afterwards, okay? So, we're almost here at the bottom of this article. Moving on to the next one. It's just got such interesting details. I hope you find it interesting too. If you do, thumbs up, share. As for how prosecutors maintained that the 4 deaths were part of a common scheme, Lee wrote that all the victims were sex workers in their 20s advertising their services online, and they were all contacted by burner phones utilized in locations consistent with Heuermann's whereabouts. The prosecutor also argued that the remains were discovered completely nude and bound within proximity to each other, that 5 hairs connected to Heuermann or a family member were recovered from 3 of the 4 sets of remains, and that each victim's disappearance and murder occurred at times when the defendant's wife and children were traveling out of state. This allowed the defendant sufficient time to execute his plans for each victim without fear that his family would uncover or learn of his commission of these crimes, Lee wrote. In New York criminal procedure law, a bill of particulars is a written statement by the prosecutor specifying items of factual information not recited by the indictment. Prosecutors may respond in part, in full, or object to the request. The district attorney can go to the judge and say, "That's too much information." Riverhead attorney and retired State Supreme Court Justice William Condon said of the bill of particulars process. The defense can also go before the court and say, "This is an overly broad request and we require this information to prepare our defense." The court will decide. Heuermann, they said those conversations would most likely occur in the judge's chambers on a conference date. Condon said, Heuermann has been held without bail. Thank goodness. Yes. Okay, because sometimes in some cases we're like, why do they have bail? No bail at the Suffolk County Jail since his arrest. He is due back before the State Supreme Court Justice Timothy Mazzei for a conference on April 17th. I'm like, what? Yeah, it's coming up. I've got to write that in my diary. Okay, so now let's look at this one. As you know, I've always given Asa the benefit of the doubt. I'm not crazy about the Peacock documentary deal, but I believe they are working on refining those Son of Sam laws so that she can't, and families can't maybe profit off those tragedies and things like that. So we shall see. Joe Giacalone said it's just not public yet. G and I talked about it in a show a few weeks ago. What are we talking about? Yes. Okay, yeah. Steel Guitar says, so, lost girls, and a guy, and a baby. Okay. The estranged wife of accused Gilgo Beach serial killer, Rex A. Heuermann, declared in a statement Wednesday that she visits her husband in jail weekly and still maintains that the defendant is just not capable of the crimes he's accused of. Oh dear. We see this happen a lot, especially in serial killer cases, right? Yes, Joe Giacalone says peaches. Yes. Asa Ellerup, who filed for divorce from her husband of 27 years in the days following his July 13th arrest in connection with the case, also expressed sympathy for the victims in a statement released Wednesday by her Islip Terrace-based attorney, Robert Macedonio. The divorce is pending. Well, you see, when she filed for divorce, it seemed like, oh, okay, wow, she's like shocked. She's disgusted. Didn't she say she was embarrassed? She said embarrassed, shocked, all of that. But now, kind of regressed back to full denial mode, you know? He is innocent until proven guilty. She's giving him the benefit of the doubt. I get it, but I wonder if she's read like all the evidence they have against him, you know? And she's probably like thinking back over everything, of course. Asa Ellerup, by the way, met Rex Heuermann. This was in that Crime Nation documentary that Joe Giacalone is in. She met Rex Heuermann when she was working at a 7-Eleven that he would visit. And they would, you know, make small talk, get to know each other. And then they got together. And he was this apparently caring dad to her son, who's got special needs. They got married in 1996. So, if you didn't know that, now you know. I always also wondered exactly where did they meet. Oh, 7-Eleven. Okay. So, amazing how these serial killers can compartmentalize, isn't it? That's what's always fascinated me about studying serial killers is their ability to compartmentalize their life. Like, I like compartmentalizing, you know, it keeps you productive. But in this sense, in this context of a serial killer compartmentalizing, that's insane. The things they can do, like Jeffrey Dahmer, remember, I wrote 4 books on serial killers, and then I was like, whoa, these rabbit holes are just too dark. Okay, we gotta like just not stay there for months at a time on one serial killer. It's mentally not so great. But anyway, I wrote 4 books on serial killers because I was like, just how do these guys do this? They just go to, like, Jeffrey Dahmer worked in a chocolate factory. Like, he wasn't the best worker, very tardy, but he goes to work, and then like he's doing this other stuff. And then he visits his dad or his grandma. And then he's doing this other stuff. Like, oh my goodness. So even here, it's not actually that surprising to me that Asa and people that worked with Rex Heuermann, we've seen some reports of that as well, are like, no way, that can't be the same person. There's some people that saw some red flags and they're like, whoa, especially in hindsight, that's hectic. But others are like, there's no way. They've got many masks. And they can compartmentalize like none other. My goodness. So they said she released a statement and they say the divorce is pending. This is her statement. I will listen to all of the evidence and withhold judgment until the end of the trial. Ellerup said in a statement. I mean, that is what one is supposed to do. Right? He is innocent till proven guilty. Okay. I have given Rex the benefit of the doubt, as we all deserve. Of course, that's heartbreaking for the families to hear, right? Now, they said the unsolicited statement added because no one knows why. What prompted the statement? Like, it's just come out of nowhere. To be like, I confess I visited him. Maybe it's just to tell everyone, just don't follow me around. I'm visiting him, okay, weekly, and I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt. Hope and fear is like, cabinet makers hammer. Yeah. So the unsolicited statement added, Ms. Ellerup's heartfelt sympathies go out to the victims and their families, and nobody deserves to die in that manner. Well, doing that, saying this, and then the actions of, taking on a Peacock documentary, although I understand that she might need the financial support and all of that, I get it. There's a lot to talk about here, like, I've always got mixed feelings about this. But I, too, give Asa the benefit of the doubt. I'm like, okay, well, I don't know. I'm like, put yourself in her shoes. But I really worry about the victims' families. So, Gilgo Beach killings, victim's lawyer asks estranged wife of accused serial killer to make meaningful contribution to families. See, it's already, the conversation is going. The estranged wife of the alleged Gilgo Beach serial killer Rex A. Heuermann should meet with the victims' families and consider making a meaningful contribution to a fund for them, the lawyer for the victims' families said in a statement to Newsday on Friday. The statement came after the estranged wife, Asa Ellerup, said that she doesn't think that her husband of 27 years is capable of having committed the killings. Now, here's a question. Who the hell thinks that anyone is capable of that? You know what I mean? Okay, maybe us in true crime. We've seen too much. We know things. But usually, if you ever knew anyone, I hope this never happens to any of us, and they turn out to be a serial killer, you'll be like, what? Like, no way. That's the normal reaction, right? How would anyone think that? So it's a pretty generic statement, actually. It's not that shocking because it's like, I don't think he's capable. Well, the evidence shows a little bit otherwise up to now. That's why he's sitting in jail, unfortunately, without butter on his bread. But, who on earth would think that someone's capable of that? Hello to Defense Diaries podcast. Thank you for being here as well. Okay, so they say, the statement came right, Los Angeles-based attorney Gloria Allred, who is representing family members of 3 of the 4 women that Heuermann is charged with killing, responded Friday to an earlier statement from Ellerup in which she said that she visits Heuermann weekly at the Suffolk County Jail in Riverhead and asserted that he was not capable of the crimes that he's accused of. Ellerup, in her statement issued Wednesday by her Islip Terrace-based attorney, said she's given Heuermann the benefit of the doubt, which we all deserve, and she said she will withhold judgment until the end of the trial. Ellerup, 60, who filed for divorce 6 days after his July 13th arrest on murder charges, also expressed her heartfelt sympathies to the victims and their families. We feel that sympathetic words without deeds are meaningless. Maybe that's what I was trying to say. That's a good way to say it. Like, oh, okay, show some action then because of everything else so far, right? There's a lot of pressure on Asa and family, Rex's family. Rex Heuermann's family. People don't like it when I just say Rex. Okay, Anonymous said, I know it's anonymous, but I like to say Anonymous. Okay, you said you never want to see or think that someone you're close to is capable of such horrific things, right? Jill says, no butter. Lol, poor Rex. I like the New York accent of butter. I don't know. No, that's British. Butter is British, like butter. No one can say coffee or butter like New Yorkers, right? Okay, so wow. They want to see some action behind those words, not just words. And I just don't wonder what prompted this, right? Macedonia declined to comment Friday. The victims' family members, whom I represent, appreciate the heartfelt sympathies for the victims and their families expressed on behalf of Asa Ellerup, defendant Rex Heuermann's longtime spouse, by her attorneys concerning the Gilgo Beach criminal case, Elred said. We wonder, however, what her response will be if Rex Heuermann is convicted by a jury of the murders and or other felonies with which he's charged. Is Asa willing to commit that if defendant Heuermann is convicted, she will make a meaningful contribution to a fund to compensate the family members of the victims for their heartbreaking loss? Right? Yeah, NEP's like, why the end of the trial? When all is said and done, she'll decide. I don't know, man. Sounds like someone who's going to stay loyal forever. But then why divorce him so quick? That was obviously a business decision at the advice of her attorney. Am I right? Okay. So they said, in addition, Elred continued, will she also commit to encouraging the defendant, Rex Heuermann, to contribute whatever assets he still has to compensate the victim's family members? Elred added, further, since Ms. Ellerup visits Mr. Heuermann weekly, we also invite her to meet with the members of the victims' families, now to help her understand the depth of their loss. Heuermann, 60, who lived in Massapequa Park, has pleaded not guilty to murder charges in the killings of Maureen Brainard Barnes, Megan Waterman, Melissa Barthélemy, and Amber Lynn Costello, whose remains were found near Gilgo Beach 13 years ago. Like, this case is unbelievable. You know, that it took so long, and we know why. There was lots of corruption and all sorts of things. Yes, we've gone over that before. James Burke comes to mind. But 13 years later, after the special task force was formed, and yes, we miss Rodney. I always want to say Harris or Harrison, but we miss Rodney, okay? The former police commissioner. Where is he? So anyway, after that special task force was formed and everything, they were on to Rex Heuermann pretty quickly. Just goes to show they could have solved this a long time ago. Okay, so they say Heuermann, who worked as an architect in Midtown Manhattan, has been held without bail at the Suffolk County Jail in Riverhead since his arrest. Okay, so the rest we do know. Did you see Elred, who appeared at a news conference with the victims' families in Riverhead in January, said she represents the following parties: Elizabeth Meserve, the aunt of Waterman; Amanda Funderburg, the sister of Barthélemy; Lynn Barthélemy, the mother of Barthélemy; Melissa Cann, the sister of Brainard Barnes; Nicolette Brainard Barnes, the daughter of Brainard Barnes; and Sarah Carnes, a friend of Brainard Barnes. Ellerup, who has attended some of Heuermann's court appearances and as of Wednesday had visited him while incarcerated, so she's visited him 7 times, reportedly signed a 7-figure deal with NBC Universal and other parties to participate in a documentary on the case. Thanks to Nicole Fuller for this informative article. I always think of the writers of these articles. They work so damn hard, you know, on these articles. Now, here's some more news. Who was Gilgo Beach victim Karen Vergara? There was also a press conference we watched together where they finally identified this Fire Island Jane Doe, right? Karen Vergara. So they said Karen Vergara is home again. Her cremated remains are being returned to her sons after almost 30 years amid a sprawling 30 years? I'm just thinking of this now. Oh, what could be? Karen Vergara. I gotta go with, oh, yeah, okay. What? 96. Yeah. Okay, I'm just like, just making sure with that. I'm just counting out my fingers. What? Her cremated remains are being returned to her sons after almost 30 years amid a sprawling police investigation into a serial killer on Long Island. Vergara was identified in August as a Gilgo Beach victim with scientific techniques not available when she went missing in 1996. We don't know if there's any connection to Rex Heuermann yet. Vergara, was identified, right? We watched that press conference together as well. So she was identified in August as a Gilgo Beach victim with scientific techniques not available when she went missing in 1996. Gary Doherty, 35, and Eric Doherty, 33, said that they are grateful for the chance to give their mother a dignified funeral. My goodness. Almost 30 years later. Wow. Okay. So I'm just glancing to see some of your comments. I know it's just flying by. We're almost there. This one, I just wanted to tell you, if you didn't know, we've looked at this before. Heuermann's daily routine. Not that we're that interested, but okay, let's hear Heuermann's daily routine. Heuermann is housed in a special unit where only one other inmate lives. Toulon declined to identify that inmate, but said that neither communicates with each other. Heuermann wakes up around 6 a.m. daily. He's served breakfast in... sounds like a freaking hotel. The way they're right. He's served breakfast in his cell and can then shower if he chooses to. He also can use the services of the jail's in-house barber shop, which is staffed by inmates and outside workers. At a late September court appearance, Heuermann sported a new haircutty. I want to say a new haircutty. Okay, he had a new haircut, closely cropped on the sides with a swoop of longer hair on top. He does maintain his grooming standards, Toulon said. Heuermann at previous court appearance told Supreme Court Justice Timothy Mazzei that he spends an average of 2 to 3 hours a day reviewing the voluminous discovery that prosecutors have provided to his attorney in order to plan his defense. Oh, he's a smarty pants. He's such a good boy, everyone. He chooses if he showers, he gets his little hair cut, okay? And he even spends 2 to 3 hours a day reading the discovery. Yes. Gold star for you, bro. Gold handcuffs. Toulon said correction officers either bring a laptop to Heuermann so he can access the documents in his housing unit, or is transported to the jail's library. But in another sign of his solitary existence, he can only go to the library if no other inmates are present. No library for you unless it's empty. Heuermann hasn't had any behavioral issues. I would argue that. He's probably had it his whole life, but okay, not in the jail. Yeah. And correction officers watch Heuermann round the clock. Toulon said he can watch television, which has some 26 stations, including local news, in the common area of the housing unit. Can he watch YouTube, though? Is he watching this right now? Oh, no. He also has access to newspapers and books. He's very compliant with all the directions that all the corrections officers and supervisors give him, Toulon said. Meanwhile, at the jail, the sheriff's anti-trafficking initiative continues, with investigators conducting 168 interviews with inmates, many of whom were involved in sex work, including in Suffolk and Nassau counties, Toulon said. He said they anticipate continuing the work in New York City. So we've looked at this before, right? That they're interviewing many sex workers to try to now, get information on him, to build their case, Yeah. Chili Karen says, love snarky pants. To have snarky pants on. So he's got his smarty pants on. So they say he's acclimated. Heuermann walks regularly. Now just think about this. Okay, I'm just going to bring it up one more time. Think about how this dude's treated. An alleged serial killer. And a suspected killer, okay, compared to the Delphi guy, Richard Allen. Just think of the difference. I'm just pointing that out. Okay, just one more time. Rex Heuermann's getting haircuts. He can go to the library. He can choose if he's going to shower for the day or not. He gets to walk around in the regular recreation area inside the jail, where inmates also have the option of playing basketball and doing pull-ups and other exercises. Okay, and what is Richard Allen doing? Do you know what I mean? It's very interesting. So, I remember that this guy on his Google searches was looking up all kinds of sadistic things involved with kids as well, so we just never know what all he got up to. Okay, Heuermann also takes advantage of the religious outreach services offered by the jail, because of course he's going to be an angel now. It's unclear if Heuermann was particularly religious or attended church. Well, we've heard about his cousin, the Catholic dude, and all of that. We've looked at some of that before. If you've never heard of it before, dig a little, because my goodness, there's some rabbit holes out there. It's speculative, but still, wow. So he's met with a member, there you go, of the Catholic clergy, pretty much weekly since he's been incarcerated. Now, I'm not shading any Catholics. Don't get me wrong. The cousin is like a Catholic priest who was allegedly abusing a whole bunch of kids and women and everything. So that's why I'm like, what is he up to? What is Rex up to here? That is an interesting little deep dive. Because of the security concerns, Heuermann isn't permitted to attend weekly services that groups of other inmates partake in. But, like any other inmate, Heuermann also receives mail and writes letters. We know he's writing to the Happy Face Killer. literally writing to Keith Jesperson, the happy face killer. And ironically, the happy face killer's daughter is the one who helped set up the GoFundMe for Asa Ellerup. Wow, like small world, huh? So they said, and he meets with his attorneys regularly. He's acclimated, Toulon said. I could tell you he's slimmed down a little bit. I don't know if it's our food. I know he's eating. This was an old article, next court date. Now, lastly, finally, are we done? How are we? This is a lot of news, right? There's a lot of, lot of little bits that I've collected for you over the last few weeks. So, okay, let's quickly go here. This is from the Crime Nation documentary that the Sun has now written about, right? They said eerie signs. Rex Heuermann's disturbing behavior at the time of the murders revealed by co-worker as new info about Gilgo bodies emerges. So we've looked at some of this before. You know, there was someone that worked for Rex and said that he used to brag about bear hunting in Alaska. So who knows where else Rex Heuermann committed crimes and who he was really hunting. So they said a former co-worker of accused serial killer Rex Heuermann has revealed a chilling conversation that she had with him around the time that Gilgo Beach victims' bodies were found. Mary Shell described what she saw as disturbing behavior by Rex Heuermann at his architecture firm in the mid to late 2000s. There's a picture of him. Okay, so Mary Shell. They say cops were looking for a serial killer at the time after finding 10 bodies along Gilgo Beach in Long Island, New York between 1996 and 2011. Shell was 25 years old and working as an executive assistant at a small firm when she first met Heuermann. Part of her job involved delivering documents to his office. Rex was overly confident, even pompous. Well, we've seen that from that little interview that's in my intro, right? The cabinet maker's hammer interview. Definitely seems overly confident and even pompous, she said in an episode of Crime Nation covering the Gilgo Beach murders. He really sold himself to people as the expert. Shell said that she was ready to leave her job in 2010 and Heuermann asked her to work at his company. He said that he couldn't wait to see the look on my former boss's face when he found out that I was working there. They had a somewhat antagonistic relationship with each other, that I knew, but I was not comfortable. It struck me as unprofessional. He thinks he's playing some kind of power game, and I was sort of a strange pawn in the middle of it. Yeah, it sounds a little bit like Rex, right? My goodness, legendary CEO. You have been a member for 13 months. Well, thank you so much for being a member for 13 months. If you guys didn't know, we're having a members-only stream right after the stream. Rider of the Storm. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. So, Shell described how Heuermann, sometimes I'm like human. No, he's not human. Heuermann, okay? He's a monster. He's an ogre, allegedly. So, like to say things for shock value, and often spoke about his gun collection and going bear hunting. So, we looked at that before. One time he said, I haven't heard this before. I hope you're not thinking about leaving. I'd have to shoot you. Like, funny. How hilarious, Rex Heuermann. Especially in hindsight, right? Oh my goodness. At the time, maybe it's like, what? But now it's even worse. Something Rex would say, probably to get a rise out of you, but it's a lot more serious when you consider that he may have actually been out hunting women at the time. She described his demeanor as business as usual as he continued to play stupid games. And this is his mindset and his confidence level right around the time that he allegedly committed murder. That is a scary thought. That's why I talk about the compartmentalization, right? Yeah, Defense Diaries podcast says, the ogre. If you didn't know, Bob Motter's dad was one of the defense attorneys for John Wayne Gacy. And Bob Motter knows a lot about John Wayne Gacy. And I wrote a book on John Wayne Gacy. So one day we've got to talk about that because you've got all the tapes that you got for your 21st birthday. You got your podcast as well. If you haven't listened to it before, go check it out. And it's all as well like, whoa, John Wayne Gacy, another serial killer who could compartmentalize like none other. My goodness. So they're saying this is his mindset. Again, they say, and his confidence level right around the time that he allegedly committed murder. He's not nervous. He's not looking over his shoulder. That's really disturbing to me. Shell left the architecture industry for a career in journalism, and a former colleague of hers went on to have her own issues with Heuermann. Rex had just become more difficult over the years, Shell said. That led her ex-colleague, Heuermann's former VP, to start her own company, which angered him. Of course, he's just like, how dare you have your own life and boundaries and your own company. He will not allow it. Okay. One night, Heuermann went to the building where his ex-employee had begun to work and stared into the window, as in like he was downstairs staring up into the window. She was working late, right? She saw him downstairs, like gazing up into the window. There wasn't really any good or comforting explanation for that. What was he doing there, she recalled. They locked the doors because they didn't know what he was going to do. Ooh, the gut instinct was pinging there, just like, whoa, 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 lock the doors. He wanted to let her know. I know what you're doing. I know where you are. And the rest we know, right? New information, we've gone over that. Let's quickly look at Hunted by Heuermann. Shell spoke out about her interactions with the alleged Gilgo Beach serial killer this week after another former colleague of his came forward. Muriel Henrique, I hope I'm saying that, Henriquez, told CBS News 48 Hours that she too regularly heard Heuermann talk about hunting and that he liked the idea of having a prize. Stalking prey and winning. He liked to win, Henrique said. She described how she felt that she was hunted by Heuermann. Henriquez was going on a cruise for her 40th... Oh my word, remember this cruise story? Wow, that's a blast from the past now, from when we covered this before. I'm going to go over it again now. Gaynor, thank you for being a member for 19 months. You said, I sometimes forget about these 19 months with the best community. Thank you so much. So listen to this one, right? One more. Me too. Una says, I'm totally blaming you, G. I should have been in bed hours ago. And there you are in South Africa, beady eyes in the night, watching Grizzly True Crime. Like you should. Thank you so much. Now listen to this. So this lady was going on a cruise for her 40th birthday. I'm also 40 now, okay. When Heuermann asked, where are you going? I'm going to be in the middle of the ocean. You're not going to find me in the middle of the ocean, she recalled saying. But the accused Gilgo Beach murderer apparently took her response as a challenge. Oh, yes, I can, Heuermann reportedly told her. I mean, he's proud of being a stalker, okay? Wow, allegedly. She brushed off the comment and embarked on her birthday trip. On the second day of the cruise, she came back to her room to find that a letter had been slipped under the door. It was a white envelope, she said. It was a note from him. The note said, I told you I could find you anywhere. Heuermann has pleaded not guilty to all charges against him and looks forward to defending himself in court. We've heard that before, Adam Montgomery. Looking forward to my trial. Oh, this one's also looking forward. Okay, to defending himself in court. His attorney previously said, well, that's not a good look. Like Darrell Brooks. You have attorneys to don't defend yourself. Let your attorneys do their job. He's being held without bail and could spend the rest of his life in prison if he's convicted. Yeah, you don't say. So, I know, right? So LA Vibe says, so odd, I'll find you. I mean, it wasn't even actually a challenge. It wasn't an invitation to be like, find me, stalk me, I'm going on a cruise. So I don't know exactly how that happened, but I can only imagine that he thinks he's... I mean, he would probably be a pretty good communicator. So he probably like picked up the phone like, hey, it's me, Rex Heuermann from RH Architecture. Okay. Fifth Avenue. Yeah. I'd like you to slip a little note under someone's door. It's just a friend. You know what I mean? Maybe even paid them or something. Who knows? But pretty creepy. Pretty scary. Imagine being that lady. Like, woohoo, 40th birthday on a cruise. And then you get this little note under your door and you're like, what the hell is this? That must feel really scary. Pamela Hogan says, member for 6 months. Happy Grizzlyversary. You said, my absolute favorite YouTuber. Oh, thank you so much. I do like to be a favorite. Thank you very much. If you like this live stream and the way that I present true crime and you haven't yet subscribed, I hope that you will become part of this community. We now have 275,000 Grizzlies in this community. Very cool. Okay. And if you like this live stream and the way that I present true crime, please like and share. There's some suggested hashtags in the description box for you. And again, thank you to LISK for always keeping this case in the news. And also Joe Jack alone. Always interviewing people from the area and keeping the case in the news as well. Because it reminds us all, wait, what? We're keeping an eye on it, okay? Because, sometimes the wheels of justice turn slowly, especially in a case like this where it's a massive investigation. I'm sure there's going to be more victims, right? I'm sure. Beachbum said, do you have the plaque? Yeah, you get that at 100K. So that's years ago. Not really, not years. But yes, I do have it. So I think I showed like a bit of an unboxing on Patreon before. It's on there. So, okay, now, that wasn't too bad. We powered through it in minimal time. So now we're going to have a members only stream to discuss a couple of other little updates, little bits of true crime news like Corey Richards and Chad Daybell and Adam Montgomery. Oh my word. All of that. So we're going to have a little true crime chat now there. This should teleport you there. If you're not a member, don't worry. I'll see you again very soon. You see me almost every day. Okay? Make sure you check my YouTube shorts and my community tab. I put freaking Chad Daybell's latest mugshot on my community tab if you want to glare at it and snark. I don't know. He really gets me snarky. So that trial is going to be like 8 to 10 weeks. Oh my goodness. Are we ready for it? I don't know, man. Are we ready for that? Probably. So I will see you again very soon. Thank you so much. Thank you, mods. I really appreciate it. And have a wonderful weekend, whatever you're doing this weekend. If you're not doing anything, check out my channel. I'm probably doing something for you. Okay, bye.